Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me at the market site in Times Square, New York City, we have Conor O'Loughlin. He's the co-founder and CEO of Glofox, and we are going to discuss how data impacts your workout and your choices of gym. Conor, it's great to have you with us. And you know, at Nasdaq, we talk about data and fintech all the time, but I've never had it where it's associated to what happens at the gym. And what you're seeing is a growth market for boutique gyms. Is that a trend? Is it with the younger generation? Do you think it's a bubble or a trend that's going to last?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. Yeah, definitely, it's a movement, right? It's not even been a trend over the last few years. What you've seen has been this kind of shift away from a more traditional gym model, where the gyms would sell an annual membership and really hope that their members don't show up to keep space at a premium. But it's a shift towards this more experience-led type of fitness experience, where it's driven by millennials and their need to have more of a community, more of a social aspect to their fitness. And the way that these gyms are enabling that is by enhancing their brand, enhancing the identity that the members actually feel, and that affiliation with their club or their studio, but also by pulling in data that are helping them to see their progress and help them to achieve their own goals.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because on my gym app, I go to Equinox. Now, granted, that is a big box gym.
Yeah.
I love it because it's local to me. I travel globally, and they're accessible throughout the United States. But what I have noticed on the app over the past year or two, they actually have community sections built in there, and you can go into different rooms and boards and join. I never expected to see something like that on a gym app before. Now, with the newer generations, they are really on the cusp of disposable income. Do you think that they will continue to spend money at this rapid rate on fitness?
Yeah, and like even to touch on the change in the Equinox model is what you're seeing in the space too, is the reaction from these more traditional gyms to how boutiques have been taking their market share. The boutiques, they charge a premium because they're giving a more premium service and a more premium experience. And millennials and that generation, they'll continue to spend on that because they are getting that experience that they crave. And then these more traditional gyms are trying to encapsulate that experience in their model. Mm-hmm. So what you're seeing is that members' expectations are changing. They want a more flexible usage and flexible payment system, not be kind of locked into these longer term contracts. And they want that sense of community. They want that sense of inclusion. So that's how the market is going.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant move by the gyms. I never put two and two together until we're sitting here having this conversation. So I just look at it as convenience, but now it occurs to me. Now, do you think that with all the data that they're collecting, what's next? Is it going to lend to better experiences, lend to more retention?
Yeah, with fitness, like keeping folks motivated and keeping them actually active in your gym or studio and spending money and seeing the results. You need to create these experiences that are enabling them to have challenges in front of them and see progress of those challenges, where data plays a big part. But then from the gyms and the industry as a whole, what they have is they have this great underlying data on the preferences of their end users, and they're able to serve up better experiences more in line with their preferences. So I know if you're going to spinning 3 times a week, you're going to like this new class that comes out, and be able to really just construct the experiences in line with that data.
I would imagine it also opens up opportunities for partnerships as well, right? So if you see, let's say someone's talking about a clothing line within a particular community that they like the most, let's use Puma as a random example, right? Perhaps there's partnership opportunities there because they know their clients are going towards that brand. Do you foresee something like that happening, or is that happening right now?
That's already happening, and that's a big part of where boutiques actually led the movement, is because their branding is so strong. They create this sense of it's a high fidelity relationship that they have with their members and their users. It's like, I go to Soul Cycle, that's my part of my identity, or a Barry's Bootcamp or an F45. And a big part of that is the branding side, and where they can have this apparel where they're out there marketing to the world, and they're bringing their friends and they're creating that community. So there's a $4 trillion spend in the health and fitness and wellness on an annual basis, and there's massive overlays in how gyms and studios can kind of tap into that and deliver that enhanced experience, but also really cement their brand with their members.
Yeah. I should have asked this in the beginning, but what qualifies as a boutique gym? Is that just 1 or 2 locations throughout Manhattan, or is there size or types of classes offered?
It's usually a boutique gym or studio is one that focuses on a certain discipline or maybe a small subset of disciplines, and it's also it's more commonly associated with group exercise or group classes, and you know they'd be more around, you know, with the 200-300 member mark, and the reason why they become so popular and so successful is the economics of these businesses are really highly attractive. They're charging a premium, they can operate in a smaller space, they don't need a 24/7 kind of you know, system in place with lockers and a swimming pool. So they've been popping up, like, you know, exploding in the past number of years. And you can also have different variants, segments of it, like a dance studio can be beside a mixed martial arts, but it can be beside a yoga studio, and not necessarily cannibalize each other's market share. So, you know, for that reason, they've been successful. But I think, you know, it's more the business model, and that's really why the main factor of their success has been this more creating engaged members and delivering an experience for members of what they expect and what they crave.
All right, now to wrap up here, Glofox, where do you fit in this ecosystem?
Yeah, we're a business management platform that serves this type of business model. So we provide tools that help these gyms and studios increase their retention, increase their revenue, and provide that, you know, that very, like, cement that relationship between the gym and their end member. So we're currently operating for thousands of studios in over 60 countries at the moment, and serving millions of end members. So it's quite an exciting journey so far.
All right, now the markets in the U.S., what are the most popular? I would imagine LA, New York.
Yeah, so our main US HQ is out of LA, but LA and New York, those two markets have been really at the forefront of the boutique fitness movement, and they are definitely the ones that are kind of leading the charge and more visionary in that regard. But what you're starting to see is that it's becoming pervasive. It's as we said at the start, it's not necessarily a trend, it's more of a change and a movement.
All right, Conor, thanks so much for joining us at MarketSite.
Thank you, Hannah.
And thank you for joining me on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.